Hello everybody and welcome back to RogueTech, where we have some repairs to do here. If I recall correctly, the Black Knight is going to take a little bit, but it's just armor that it needs to get repaired with. But let's get our MechWarriors back here. That gets us our floor reinforcement for the Leopard, and that is of course a good thing, because that will increase our drop tonnage a little bit. We could also consider going for something like increasing our repair and refit here for an additional tech point. Repair scaffolding would be pretty cheap. So that's maybe not the worst of ideas. Alternatively, we could also think about potentially going for something like the Gamma Pod. I'm not sure how necessary that really is, though, to be honest. So I think it's probably fine as it is right now. We could go for something like the high-capacity power conduits, which is pretty expensive and takes a while, but it does give us a tech point and a morale, which would be a good thing. But ultimately, I think that continuing to increase our drop tonnage is the way to go. So that's the way that we're going to go there, and we have Capo and Hardcase who are currently injured, and Capo is going to be injured for a while yet. We have a financial report in 6 days, so that's going to happen before we have our repairs done. Let's kick forward at least to the financial report.
Ready to go over financials whenever you are.
Okay, that's mildly painful, but it should be reasonably fine. Mildly painful indeed. Actually, like 800k? Yeah, that hurts a bit. We've got 9 days until Capo is back. Hardcase will be back in 4 days. As far as our MechWarriors go, we currently have enough to deploy as is. At least once the Black Knight is back. But it will require substitute MechWarriors. We do get our Argo upgrade completed, and we probably want to start thinking at this point about getting like Medbay 2. I mean, just having this 2% chance of not dying is nice, right? That's definitely a nice thing. So that's absolutely great, but that medical point would be absolutely phenomenal as well. So we'll get that going, and that will eventually get us our MechWarriors back a little faster. Let's continue to tick forward until Capo is back. I think we'll be fine to do that. Okay, there we go. So next up, we need to do our MechWarrior training. So let's hop into the barracks here, and let's see what we've got available. So Capo can get a skill here. He's our Black Knight pilot, and he currently has gunnery. I kind of want to do something in piloting, but I feel like the raw skill points are good, but the actual like actives are not. I mean, both of these are passive, right? But the skill slots I feel like aren't actually useful for him. So perhaps we go for something like tactics, just so that he has better sensor rolls. Sure. And then we can get these skill points for the movement. So that would be the idea, in theory.
What are your orders, Skipper?
For Coach, you can grab a point of piloting. That's fine. You're still moving towards 4444. Same with Gorgon, to be honest. We can grab a point of gunnery and a point of piloting. Okay, GV, I think a point of gunnery is absolutely phenomenal. Hardcase doesn't need anything. Magus doesn't need anything. Panic is good. Plato is good. Romeo, you can grab a point of guts. And finally, Weasel Cakes, a point of guts. Okay, so there's all of our training complete, and let's see what we've got available for contracts. I would like something that pays well here. I would like to make back some of that money that we just spent. So, we've got 2 million C-bills here, 2 million C-bills here. This is Word of Blake versus Comstar. This is Comstar versus Word of Blake. And that direction might be the better way to go here. This is the highest pay available. It's only 2 skull difficulty. That said, oh, that's a target acquisition. Never mind. So we do have access to something like this. Now, this is a blackout mission, which means that we would be restricted significantly. So maybe this? Comstar versus local government? That's not bad. It's also a blackout, though. We do have a duo duel here. That would be very quick. Very quick indeed. We wouldn't care too much about the salvage. In fact, it's like a free priority salvage. Comstar versus Word of Blake. I think we accept this. And who are we going to bring for our mechs here? Well, This is going to make things mildly awkward here. Actually, hang on. I'm going to put these back. And this is Hardcase goes in the Shadowhawk, and then Play-Doh goes in the Wraith. And I'm going to save this. And this layout is going to be standard. Okay. That way we can just load in our full-on layout later on. But we need to remove all of these for now. There we go. And we need to remove all of these as well. So we require a unit in these 2 slots here. And I think that the units that we bring are the Centaur. Oh, this is a battle armor slot. Hang on. We need them here. There we go. Lance must not be empty. Yes. Why is it saying this is max 100 tons? I'm pretty sure we can't bring anything over there. At any rate, let's slot in the Centaur here. And of course, we're going to need Magus to pilot that. And then for our other mech here, maybe like the Black Knight. Just to be able to soak up a bunch of damage and move in. Out of curiosity, is that our highest armor mech? It is. Okay, so that would be something like this, right? And now I just want to make sure. We can bring units over here. Hang on. This doesn't feel right. Yeah, we're not allowed to drop 3 units. I thought so. Okay, that would have been very strange if it had let us do that. No doubt about it. But I think we go like this. The Black Knight is just going to juggernaut at them and soften them up. The Centaur is the real brains here, right? The Centaur gets in behind them, one-shots them. That's the idea. Yes, the Black Knight will be underarmed. That's fine. As usual, it'll take a bit to load, so I'll see you guys in just a moment. Okay, so here we are, all loaded up, and let's go. So what do we got?
Command interface initiated.
Okay. That looked like, what, a Warhammer? What's that? I want to get up here and see. Yeah, that's a Warhammer, and I'm not sure what this mech is. It's unknown, and I don't directly recognize the model.
How can I help?
So we'll just run up over here and try to get some, like, cover over this way. And just get closed in with our Centaur, rather. They're going to head out over here and be able to fire at us through the cover, but that's fine. I want to move the Black Knight in over here.
Commander.
And the Black Knight is just going to be advancing like so. That's a Grasshopper. Okay. That's fine. So the Grasshopper's positioning there, and the Warhammer, we're still in spawn protection right now. So the Warhammer is going to be there. Gotcha. I want to continue to close in over here, and we can pot shot this Warhammer side arc. Soften it up in the side a little bit. Okay, injury resisting there. Okay, sounds good. So now the Warhammer moves. The mech is on fire, and let's see what it does. It shoots at the Centaur and misses everything. I love it. That's what we want to see. Next up is going to be the Grasshopper. We'll see what's it going to do. Engage down here? I'm not sure what its plan is. Jump and try to DFA the Centaur? No, obviously not. Okay, the Centaur got a number of hits there. They're definitely running dual ER PPC, or not necessarily ER. They're running dual PPCs, both of them. Heavy energy weapons. Okay.
You.
I mean, our Black Knight is running the same strategy, right? But we can continue to advance up over here. I'm thinking we fire on the Grasshopper. Yeah. We fire on the Grasshopper with the Black Knight here. And we just look to laser off some armor there, while the Centaur gets around into rear arc of the Warhammer, because the Grasshopper put its back to the arena wall there. Unfortunately, we can't quite get around. We can position here and continue to hit the Warhammer's side arc, though, that we already softened up.
Copy that.
Okay, so no internal damage there, but we did get another head hit out of that. Fascinating. That's an actual pilot damage there. Ooh, the Grasshopper jumping up into the stands. Hitting with its PPC again there. Rude. Very rude indeed.
Just barely dinged my arm.
Next up, our Black Knight is going to advance over to about here. And we're going to probably continue to work on this Warhammer, I think.
Got it, Commander.
Okay. We're still not through the armor there. We just need to get our Centaur into rear arc, right? That's what really needs to happen here. And that's actually fascinating positioning there. Okay, they've gotten a number of hits in on the Centaur. No doubt about it, but the armor's holding for now. So the Centaur can definitely position out behind here. If we were to position, hypothetically, here. I like this position.
Roger.
We hit the backstab. This thing has quite a lot of rear armor, but
Roger.
Let's see what we get done. Okay, we stressed him anyway. The Grasshopper is now going to fire on the Black Knight, and that's who I want them firing on. It does a lot of damage, no doubt about it. How's its heat levels doing?
Reporting. Heavy damage.
Okay, the Warhammer moves now. And goes for the Centaur there. Getting a little bit of damage in there again. But that Warhammer is very softened up at this point. So if we look at that, yeah, it's incredibly softened up. I'd like to take our Black Knight out over... Can we get, like, an unobstructed LOS here? The answer is no. But we can then fire on this Grasshopper up here.
Here it comes.
And continue to soften up that Grasshopper a little bit. Okay. Next up, we are absolutely going to move our Centaur into rear arc of this guy here. I like this position. And this should kill that Warhammer. That was certainly a lot of internal damage there.
Take that as a lesson.
Unfortunately, our clustering rolls were pretty bad there, all things considered. This guy's continuing to hit our Black Knight. Okay, that is expected. 100% we are expecting to take that damage. That Warhammer can't really do anything, right? I mean, it can fire its small pulse laser, I guess.
Lucky bastard.
And then he ejects. Okay. Yep, that'll do the trick. So that's fine. Our Black Knight is going to continue to back off over here. I'd like to get unobstructed LOS, but unfortunately that's not happening thus far. And we're going to continue to soften up this Grasshopper a bit as best we can anyway. We're having a hard time hitting it from this range. I really wish it hadn't have jumped up into the stands. That feels like cheating, but, you know, they're word of Blake. What do you expect? So we're going to position probably around here. This is obstructed LOS, but from here we have a side arc hit on this Grasshopper. It is into its strong side, unfortunately.
All weapons are good.
Okay, we'll see what it does here. Continues to go for the Black Knight, which is exactly where we want this damage to be going. So that's good. Okay, so I think that the Black Knight should probably try to dip out into the water over here. We'll lose the obstruction in the LOS, and we'll also be able to sink heat more effectively from here. So we'll just fire from here and see what damage we can get done there. There's a little bit, but we're out of range of the pulse lasers, which is to be expected. The real question here is, where do we want to move the Centaur? I don't think we get into side arc, so I think we want to reserve the Centaur here.
You've got my attention.
And continue to reserve the Centaur. Have the Grasshopper move. Yes. Much better. This is a much better position.
Reporting major armor loss.
Okay, now our Centaur does get side arc out over here. This is barely... this is actually not that great. We're actually better off to move out over here, I think.
Moving out.
Not great hit odds overall. We failed our sensor roll. But let's see what we can get done there. That'll be a structure exposure anyway. Taking out a double heat sink, that's a pretty big deal, actually. So a double heat sink destruction there looks good. The Black Knight from here is going to just head up over this direction. And we'll fire everything we've got. Yeah, that ECM jamming.
Got it, Commander.
That's a fair amount of internal damage there. Upper arm destruction as the only crit, though, is certainly not ideal. But our Centaur can position somewhere around here and go for the kill. We have no more SRMs. That's a PPC destruction, medium pulse laser destruction, and a double heat sink destruction. Okay, so this guy has a lot less armament now. Still fires that PPC. We do get a structure exposure on the Black Knight.
Internal
But yeah, him jumping up there is
damage.
messing with our plans. No doubt about that. I'm going to position the Black Knight here. And that's more internal damage on that Grasshopper. It can't take much more of this. But we can't get in and backstab it from this position because it jumped up. So that's fine for the moment. I'd like to position somewhere around here with our Centaur. And this is our final round of LRMs as well. So there's another double heatsink destruction on that Grasshopper. It continues to go for our Black Knight, getting some internal damage there. This thing has definitely survived longer than expected. I feel like the Black Knight was not necessarily the choice for this in retrospect, but that's a lot of internal damage there. Okay, engine heatsink +1 crit, PPC destruction, that's all great. Next up, of course, we need to get our Centaur out over like here. And we need to keep hitting with those ER micro lasers. Another PPC crit, but then the pilot ejects. Okay. I mean, we did make a good show of that, I guess. But I feel like he should have been disqualified for jumping into the stands, to be clear. But what are you going to do? It's word of Blake, right? He probably had some sort of, like, some sort of Blakist scripture dispensation for doing that. That seems like the kind of thing he'd have. So that's absolutely fine. We didn't really take any significant internal damage there. Unfortunately, that Black Knight repair is going to eat up quite a lot. We can think about going for one of these guys, but we're going to have to disassemble them. We could just take an ERPPC here. Or an engine heatsink +1 with 2 quantity. Or a double heatsink kit. I'm going to take the DHS kit. What else do we get? Engine core 280, not bad, but we have one. I'm going to get rid of that for now. And the medium pulse laser, we'll keep that around even though we have 6. I guess we get a Warhammer part as well. Yeah, that would have been a lot easier if we could have backstabbed that Grasshopper. No doubt about it. We never really had an opportunity to, though. At least not without jump jets. So that's absolutely fine. Another interesting mech that we could have used for that would have been like the Shadowhawk, but I feel like that would have been a little small for what we were going up against. So overall, I think that was kind of okay as it was. The real question is how much of that payday is going to go into repairs, because that payday basically just covered our month tick and no more. So we're going to need a second payday this month. No doubt about that. What do we got? Any moment now, Yang. Okay, 100,000. That's not too bad. It's going to take 17 days to repair the Black Knight, though. I mean, we can deploy another time. So let's tick forward here. Sure. Morale decreased by 5, but that's fine. We'll repair the Argo. Okay, sounds good. So we're going to continue to tick forward here. The med bay upgrade is going to be done now. So let's hop into the mech bay here, and or actually into the engineering. I do want more tech points, because it's clear that replacing the armor on that Black Knight is a lot, right? So getting something like repair scaffolding would be absolutely fine here. Let's get that going. We can get more tech points through things like our power system. I believe our structure mostly doesn't have tech points. This is going to be pretty much our max amount of tech points by getting these. And, you know, increasing our finances. But while we're upgrading the Argo, we're not going to be increasing our finances. So for now, let's continue to tick forward these 9 days. And that's getting close to the financial report. No doubt about that. Okay, next up, we're going to do a little bit more MechWarrior training. We probably don't need much, but there has been some simulator that has happened in that time. So Magus could grab a point of guts here. Sounds good. What else do we have? A point of tactics for Plato. Okay. And that's it. Okay, let's look for a quick mission here. Not really something that's going to be all that challenging, but something we can get through swiftly. That's not a defend base. This battle might not be too bad. It's against Comstar, but it's quite small. Secondary Lance of Mechs? Maybe not. Multiple Lyran units? Maybe not. Partial Lance of damaged mechs here? Steiner? should be kind of okay here. Run it straight down the middle, I think. And we would then load in our standard layout. Phenomenal. Let's do it. See you guys in just a moment. Okay, so here we are ready to deploy, and let's see how quickly we can get this one done. We've got 5 minutes-ish left in the episode, and hopefully this will go very, very swiftly. Hopefully they are as damaged as expected. We'll see what's going on here. Where are they? Up over here, there is a support lance. We could actually deploy up here. That would not be beneficial for our Centaur and Scimitar and just generally our close-in lances. So I'm going to deploy down over here, and we're just going to head down this way. Maybe we should have deployed fire support up on the ridge and then everyone else down here. That is definitely an option, but it's also a little bit dangerous to do that without knowing anything about the enemy deployments. Okay, we see a Hollander, we see a Trebuchet, we see a Night Sky, and that's all we see for the time being. That doesn't mean that's all there is. We have not updated our sensors yet. So let's just head on forward with our Centaur here. And what do we got? Striker, Scorpion, and there's a Scorpion over here. And that's all we see. Okay. That doesn't look too bad. We're just going to cruise forward as much as we can. Actually, the Apollo is probably not going to go forward quite that much. The hoplite will end up being out over here. We're going to try to keep our firing corridor this direction as much as possible. So that looks good for now. Next up is going to be GV, who is going to start to accelerate and head out over this direction. Phenomenal. And our Shadowhawk is going to go this side as well.
Roger that.
Okay, so the enemy Trebuchet moves forward here. It's a good target for our Centaur next round. Crossbow can start heading this direction for its firing position. And we're seeing that Striker move around out there. Cool.
Will be done.
So our Wraith is also going to head out over on the left side here as we attempt to stick to this side. And then finally, our Trebuchet is going to position up over here. Cool. I don't think that was our last unit. No, our Black Knight is. And that is going to head out over this direction.
No shooting, just running.
So, how quickly can we start chipping through these? Oh, wow. This Night Sky fell down. Okay. That's kind of hilarious. I love it. So we're going to definitely be targeting that with our fire support. No doubt about that. There's a Centurion out there too. Okay. Spawn protection is now gone. So at this point, I want to take our Centaur out over here. I don't love this positioning, but we can eliminate this Trebuchet very quickly.
Roger.
Wow, it survived that, even with an LRM ammo explosion. I'm actually shocked it survived that. Okay. So this Hollander moves up, fires at our Centaur, misses. That's not shocking. That didn't sound like a Gauss, though. That sounded like an autocannon of some type. BZK G1. I'm not familiar with that variant, but it may well be that it has some sort of an autocannon. So we'd look at firing probably on the Trebuchet here. We would turn our field inhibitor on.
See how you like this.
And we just hit him side arc here. We're looking for a knockdown and hoping that that will destroy his CT. We'll see what happens with that. And it did. Or actually, I think the pilot might have been killed from that. But either way, that's fine. Yeah, pilot incapacitated. Looks good. So up comes this Scorpion, firing on our Wraith. Not getting very much done.
So far, so good.
And next up is going to be our Shadowhawk. So the Shadowhawk is going to position up over here. We could fire on the Scorpion, we could fire on the Hollander, we could fire on the Night Sky, and I'm honestly going to soften up the Night Sky a little bit here.
Locking on.
Okay, we also triggered that AMS, which is a good thing to do. I like it. So now they have a Phase 14 mover, and that is... who exactly? The Centurion? Okay. Firing on our Apollo. Getting very little done there. 5 damage. Well, it does look like this is going to be a little bit longer, so I'm going to put a cut in here, and next episode, we're going to wrap this one up. I don't expect this to be particularly challenging, but it'll be a little bit longer than doing it in this episode. So that'll be a thing. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Andy McGar, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12UK, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.